Yes, students, today's our topic number is P8.8, which is rolling motion. And rolling motion need these diagrams, that's why I had drawn early. And you may be wondering how I could draw that perfect circles. Nothing of its kind. I have a plate. That plate I used it. So don't worry about diagram. Properly you draw circles. So rolling motion is mathematically a combination of pure translation and pure rotation. So pure translation of center of mass plus pure rotation about center of mass gives you rolling motion mathematically. And sum of these two I am talking about gives this is equal to this. So what is individually they are means pure translation. This center of mass is say here, and this have VCM, velocity of center of mass, and if it is moving like this, this also should move like that, VCM. So this point should also have VCM. Plus highlight it here. And this point also should translate VCM. This is called pure translation of center of mass. There is no point in which rotation is happening here. And you have center of mass about which angular velocity omega cm should be there. And if the radius is r, this point will have say clockwise rotation, no, r omega cm. And this point will have r omega cm. V is equal to r omega formula which we have previously discussed. So at any instant V is equal to r omega cm. If you decrease the distance, point will have lesser speed. Increase the distance, point will have greater speed. And at the center point will not have any speed, like fan rotating. This point will have a speed r omega cm. So this is called pure rotation about center of mass. Every point is rotating and center of mass is not moving. So it is not translating, only rotation is happening. Pure translation of cm plus pure rotation about cm is equal to rolling motion. A combination of this and this. Try to superimpose them both. So here you will have VCM plus r omega cm. Here VCM and this is r omega cm. Here VCM and like this r omega cm. This is VCM, this is r omega cm, and this point about which rotation is occurring omega cm like this, and it also have VCM. Just what I have done is take this diagram and superimpose on this, you will get that. This plus this is equal to that. And if you vectorially add, this point will have V plus r omega, straight line you can draw it. Here you have to add like this. That will be the net velocity. Here to net velocity of this point is like this. Net velocity of this point is like this. Net velocity of this point is this minus this leftover value, whatever is there. Now mathematically this is also equal to pure rotation about instantaneous center. First we have to define what is instantaneous center. If at all you know the final velocities, if at all this velocity is like this, a combination of this and this comes like this vectorially, and this point will have like this, and this point will have velocity like this. Any 2 points minimum required. If you drop perpendiculars from them, this is 90 degrees. Drop perpendicular from this, this is 90 degrees. Drop perpendicular from this, this is 90 degrees. That should be 90 degrees, otherwise it's not instantaneous center. So any 2 points on a rolling object you take, and you should know the net velocity of that, not only the translational part or not only the rotational part, the total velocity you need to know it. and if you join them, that comes to a point. I am putting it as a star. That instantaneous center I am putting like a star mark. So now the question is, a person who is seeing this video may be thinking that whether instantaneous center will be exactly at the periphery of the wheel, or it will be little inside or little be outside. That all depends on forthcoming conditions. But now I can define rolling motion. Rolling motion is a combination of translation and rotation. But whatever is happening, that is this one, that can be visualized, or mathematically you can conceptualize, and you can use your translatory equation and rotatory equation. But using translation, don't use rotation. That's called pure translation. While using rotation, don't translate it, pure rotation. And combination of these two we call this. And if you want to see it in other format, that can be seen as pure rotation about instantaneous center. So I will show you all. This is the diagram. I am showing rolling motion. Rolling motion here, if you have a surface on that, it will be doing like this and going forward. So now that can be taken as visually pure translation of CM, and after going there, pure rotation without any translation, or pure rotation about instantaneous center. Hold it like this and like this. At a given place I am holding at periphery and rotating. Rotation is not occurring about center. Rotation is occurring about the periphery. And that, will it happen at exactly at the periphery, or some point will be inside or outside, depends on rolling, whether it is happening without slipping or with slipping. That's a next point I am going to discuss in detail. But first, what is rolling motion? The wheel of your vehicle, when you are running on, when you are going on a vehicle, it will be rolling motion. In that, the center of the wheel will move from one place to other place. So you moved from your house to some shop. In between, the wheel has moved, its center moves. Not only that, around the center there will be some motion. So if you are sitting at the center point of view, then around you some motion will be occurring. That is pure rotation. If you are outside the reference frame, along with the rotation around the center also is moving. So center is translating. That is rolling motion. So rolling motion is equal to a mathematically combination of pure translation without rotation, pure rotation without translation, or it is mathematically again equivalent to pure rotation about, not about center, about instantaneous center. And how to get instantaneous center? Not only for this advantage, if you learn this in future, rolling bodies means many times we take only 6 cases: ring, hollow cylinder, solid disc, circular disc, solid cylinder, hollow sphere, solid sphere, only 6 objects. But if any cube kind of object is there, that you cannot deal like this. So there you can use that concept of pure rotation about instantaneous center. That is again not rolling motion. Basically it's a combination of translation and rotation. So some object is pure translating and pure rotating, and it is not rolling and it's not round, then you can even deal it as pure rotation about its instantaneous center. So this is, anyhow, we will deal later on. This version of mathematics is more comfortable and more easy. We will do that first. Now coming rolling types. First type is called forward slip rolling. Which implies at the bottommost point, translation should be more and rotation should be less. That is, VCM should be greater than R omega Cm. This happens, then the bottommost point tend to slip. This is not the case. This is actually backward slip rolling. This is R omega is more than V. But if V is more than R omega, it translates more, rotate less. That actually happens if you are coming down a hill and which is little smoother, then your vehicle will translate more. During the translation, rotation will be less. So it will be skidding. Particularly if you want to see this, if you are coming down the hill, try to apply slight brakes, not heavy. Completely if you apply, it will arrest the rotation. When it arrests the rotation, you will see only the forward slip rolling only, that's called, but complete rolling will happen. So what you do is apply slight brakes. Then your vehicle will have a tendency to slip more and rotate less. So at that time, if you can visualize the wheel will have more of translation, less of rotation, and it skids forward. So a kinetic friction equal to mu kn act backwards, acts backwards. Place is not sufficient. Okay, I'll write it here only. Slip is forward, kinetic friction will be backward. And when this kinetic friction acts as a wheel slips over the surface, then heat will be developed. So the mechanical energy will get converted into heat energy. So in that context, law of conservation of mechanical energy is not true, because work is done by a non-conservative force, friction. So mechanical energy is not conserved. That is called forward slip rolling. Now the proper diagram, whatever I have drawn, that is backward slip rolling. So second type of rolling is backward slip rolling. In this context, exactly the diagram represents backward slip rolling, where r omega is more than v. So VCM is less than r omega Cm, I can write, or r omega Cm greater than VCM. Actually, the rolling can happen this side or this side also. So don't worry whether it is going that side you call forward, this side you call, not like that. Concentrate. More translation means forward slip rolling, more rotation means backward slip rolling. This happens if you see in movies, some deserts, they will show some boleros will be moving and all, or even your wheel when it's stuck in sand, when you try to move it, it rotates more, but it will not translate that much. In that context, more rotation, less translation. That is the example there. Implies Fk is equal to mu k and kinetic friction acts, and it will be acting forward. When slip is backward, when slip is forward, friction is backward. When slip is backward, friction is forward. And even in this case, there will be a rupture, because of which mechanical energy is not conserved, not constant. This is another slip of rolling. So obviously two conditions are over. VCM greater than r omega Cm, VCM less than r omega Cm. Left over only one. That is called no slip rolling, and that itself is called pure roll. So some students by mistake they think that pure translation plus pure rotation is equal to pure rolling. No. Pure translation plus pure rotation is equal to rolling. In that rolling there are three types: forward slip rolling, backward slip rolling, and no slip rolling. And we are now talking about pure rolling, in which translatory part and rotatory part will be same, r omega Cm, and with respect to the bottommost point, forward slip and backward slip are same. So the bottommost point will have same, these two values will be same. Then at this point, the lowermost point will be at instantaneous rest. So when wheel moves on the floor or the road, the bottommost point which always come in contact with the road comes to rest. And again, when it leaves that and it goes to this point, it picks up speed, very high speed, very low, no speed. So that happens in case of no slip rolling. Implies now kinetic friction will not act, because it is not slipping, it is static with respect to the floor. So static friction acts. And now you cannot say whether it acts backward or forward until unless you understand what is the net tangentially applied force. Go to friction concepts. There I told, when no slip condition, static friction acts, slip condition, kinetic friction acts. Just a moment. Sorry for the disturbance. Now coming back. Static friction acts, and whose direction now you cannot predict. You can take either forward or backward, you take it and do the calculation. Finally, depending on the net applied force, you will get that value. So don't try to give value to static friction. Until unless you know tangentially applied forces, we cannot comment upon static friction. Mechanical energy this time is conserved. So that bottommost point every time comes to rest. So it don't rupture the surface. So surface only is helped in supporting it, but it's not moving along with the wheel. Suppose you are standing on a ladder like this. This is a ladder, on that you are standing, and ladder is pulled up. Then the normal force applied on your leg by the ladder has done work. But you are only climbing the ladder. Then every step is supporting you, it is not doing work. So here also the static friction which is acting on the wheel, point of application of force will not move with the wheel. Then work is not done. Again you have to go to work concepts. Work is said to be done, or work done by a force is defined as product of displacement and component of force in the direction of displacement, and that force should move along with the object. So here that is not happening, so happily we can say that static friction has not done work. Static friction is acting but has not done work, and therefore mechanical energy is conserved. Such rolling is called pure rolling. Now I explain the important aspect. Let us take a cycle or a bicycle or a bike. When you start for the first time and when you want to ride on it, the back wheel slips like this, round like this. So during that part it will have a backward slip rolling, and that backward slip rolling on the back wheel makes kinetic friction act on the bottommost point of the wheel. So the wheel, when it try to slip like this, on that frictional force act forward, makes overall object translate. So the frictional force is responsible for your translation. So if you put your stand and both the wheels are at little height, and how much a time you cycle it, you will not go forward. Why? Because the wheel is not slipping over solid surface. When it slips on the solid surface, that solid surface provides you impetus, that gives you force. That force makes your overall body move. When you apply brakes, then what happens? The overall rotating wheels stop rotation. Brakes actually stops the rotation. The disc brakes or whatever brake, drum brakes, that brake stops the rotation. Therefore it slides little forward and it stops. In that case it will be forward slip rolling. So while starting, backward slip rolling happens, and when you are stopping, forward slip rolling happens. There is a lot of concept involved in it. Now when I take an example there, I'll explain, but try to understand. And most of the time when you are in motion, particularly when you are in constant motion, most of the time your wheel will be 99.99%, it will be in pure rolling. If at all wheel is subjected to continuous forward and backward slip, actually you ask your dad or mom, they will tell you, those who ride vehicles, for every 40,000 kilometers we will change the wheels, the tires, we will put the new tire. By that time it gets ruptured. So 40,000 kilometers it will run. If at all there is a forward slip and backward slip, not even 1,000 kilometers they will run. Continuously when you are rupturing like this, what happens? The wheel get it's ruptured. It will get wear and tear. But the bottommost point of the wheel just presses, that's all. So I'll tell you one more thing. I have a stamp. On that stamp some A is been printed. Now I take this stamp and press on this board. Then you will see the letter A. If I scratch like this, this A will scratch like this. You will not see A. Like that only. Whenever a newly laid road, dumper road or concrete road or cement road, on that by mistake somebody travels with his vehicle, you will see the marks of the threads of the tire. If tire got ruptured or slipped over it, you will not see the threads. So suddenly newly laid road and somebody came in the middle and you applied the brakes, like that skid has happened and you ruptured that road. Then you can't see the thread marks. So if at all you have wheel thread marks like this, thread marks, you can clearly see the thread marks when wheel goes away without application of brakes. That means the bottommost point of the wheel on the road comes in contact. If it is having either backward slip or forward slip, it ruptures the road. But if at all it is not having backward or forward slip, it just presses the road and goes away. That kind of rolling is called no slip rolling. That kind of slip rolling is called pure rolling. That is called VC. The bottommost point will have VCM is equal to R omega Cm, static friction acts and mechanical energy is conserved. This happens 99.9999% of time. Otherwise, the tire what you have purchased, MRF or C8 tire, whatever you have purchased, it will not come for 40,000 or 50,000 kilometers. If you are and some people, some drivers, they are bad drivers, they say that, and some people within 30,000 kilometers only they change. That means they continuously apply the brake, continuously accelerate. They don't have a proper format of driving. Suddenly they go, suddenly they stop. In this way, what happens many a times, stopping, because of rupturing will happen and the wheel, the tire which has to come for 40,000 or 50,000 kilometers in a proper by a proper driver, it will come only last for only 30,000 kilometers. But still, most of the times it will have rolling without slipping. So, and the important condition for all this to happen is there must be sufficient friction below the ground. So suppose this is touching on a floor, and that floor or the concrete road or the rambar road should have sufficient friction so that the slip rolling is immediately converted into no slip rolling. This is the introduction of rolling motion. Now coming to this instantaneous center. This instantaneous center can be little above or little below the periphery, or it may be on the periphery. It depends on forward slip rolling, backward slip rolling, depending on the velocity. If at all this is more and you draw a perpendicular, it comes inside. If at all r omega cm is less, then your net velocity comes here, so perpendicular comes this side. So this in forward slip rolling, instantaneous center will be inside. In backward slip rolling, instantaneous center will be outside the periphery of the wheel. In no slip rolling, you are lucky, and the instantaneous center on the wheel will lie exactly at the point of contact of wheel with the floor. So this is also important point you need to understand. In a simple way, once again, I am doing rolling motion, translating as well as rotating, which is mathematically taken as pure translation and pure rotation. When I am translating, don't rotate. When I am rotating, don't translate. This can be also treated mathematically as hook this at this point. Don't move this point. This finger should not move. This can be taken as pure rotation about instantaneous center. Mathematically, it comes same. Physically, that is not happening actually. But mathematically, if you see, the answers come same. We will continue further, little of more mathematics. So in pure translation, all parts are having velocity only. So I write half mass of the whole body times of VCM square, translational kinetic energy, plus half moment of inertia of this body about this axis ICM, omega about center of mass square. This is equal to kinetic energy of rolling. So sum of these two. This is also equal to half I omega square, but there is a difference here. This is ICM, no? Now rotation is happening about this axis. So I about instantaneous center into omega about instantaneous center whole square. Omega about instantaneous center. Mathematically, in future you will understand that omega this and omega about center of mass will be same for pure rolling, only for pure rolling. These two will be same. Omega about center of mass is equal to omega about instantaneous center will happen because this is a wheel. This is a center about which rotation is occurring. Certain angular velocity is there. Now from here I go down and I make it rotate like this. Distance of every point also changes from that with respect to that. So you will have like this something. This is the angle covered. This is the distance. This is the distance. This length is 2r. This is 2 omega. This is omega. This is r. Sorry. This is v. This is 2v. This by this and this by this comes same. So one comes as omega cm. Other comes as omega star cm. Omega star. So only in case of pure rolling, I repeat it. Angular velocity about center of mass, whatever number comes, that same magnitude you can take it for angular velocity about instantaneous center, but moment of inertia are different. Moment of inertia of a disc like this about this axis is mr square by 2. You know the moment of inertia we have done previous topic. So again, moment of inertia of this thing not about this axis. Instead of this axis, I take axis here and I rotate it. Then half mr square, you have parallel axis theorem, you have to shift it to the next point, here to here or here to here. Half mr square plus mr square, 3 by 2 mr square will come. So moment of inertia changes. Angular velocity remains same in case of pure rolling. But something else is there, then just follow this principle, you will get it. Half total mass, better to represent with capital M. There is nothing wrong in it. Capital M VCM square plus half. Moment of inertia in general is mass of the total body into radius of gyration square. This also previously we discussed. Omega, in case of pure rolling, these two are equal. So omega is equal to V by R. V by actual radius of the object, you take capital R. So VCM by R whole square is equal to kinetic energy of pure roll. This is equal to half. Moment of inertia about star axis is equal to moment of inertia about center of mass plus mass of the whole body. Distance between these two is R plus mr square into omega about the star axis whole square. Where star is instantaneous center. What is instantaneous center? When you drop perpendiculars from any two velocities, they will meet at a point. That point is instantaneous center. Now this you can take half m VCM square common, 1 plus m gone, half gone, VCM square gone. So k square by r square. K square by r square. This is equal to kinetic energy of rolling. So that mathematics we'll do later on, but now not urgent, answers come same. So this is the kinetic energy of rolling, and this k square by r square values previously we discussed. K square by r square values 1, half, 2 by 3, 2 by 5. 1 for ring or hollow cylinder, half for disc or solid cylinder, 2 by 3 for spherical shell, 2 by 5 for solid sphere. So those values you have to by heart it and keep in mind, it will be useful in future. Sometimes questions will be very simple. Percentage of translation they ask. Percentage of translation in a rolling body. So kinetic energy translation by kinetic energy rolling, translation plus rotation, which is rolling. So kinetic energy translation is half mv square. By combination of these two has come like this, half mv square into 1 plus k square by r square. Half mv square gets cancelled. So 1 by 1 plus k square by r square into 100%. When you make 100, you will get percentage. You will get percentage of translation. Similarly, if you want percentage of rotation, you might have seen this during translation. This first portion has gone, but this makes the second portion half m v square, but k square by r square will not go. So in that point of view, if you see, percentage of rotation is k square by r square by 1 plus k square by r square into 100%. By knowing the k square by r square value for each object, particularly 6 objects we will consider during rolling: ring and hollow cylinder, both will have k square by r square 1, radius of gyration square by radius square. Solid cylinder and disc will have k square by r square half. So that value substitute will get the percentage, and 2 by 3 will be the coefficient of k square by r square value in case of hollow sphere. 2 by 5 will be in solid sphere. That you write it, you will get percentage of translation and percentage of rotation. And if you find any one of them, remaining is, see, rolling is a combination of translation and rotation. So in out of 100%, if this is 40%, this will be 60. If this is 30, this will be 70, like that. Sometimes they ask this question called running race. So running race they will keep for say 4 objects. I take ring, disc, circular disc, hollow sphere, shell. and solid sphere, whose k square by r square values are 1, half, 2 by 3 and 2 by 5. Remember that if you substitute these values, whichever translates more, it will come first. Center of mass should move from one place to other place, and center of mass motion only we consider as starting point and ending point. So whenever there is a race, not in terms of rotation, actually rolling will be a combination of rotation as well as translation, but center has moved from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, that is comes under consideration. So percentage wise, if you see, you write all these things. In this case, 1 by k square by r square, k square by r square, you put 1. So 1 plus 1 will come, half. So this comes out to be 50% of translation. Next, in this case, put half. 2 1s are 2 plus 1, 3. 2 by 3. 200 by 3. 200 by 3 will come for disc or solid cylinder. 3 1s are 3 6 are 18. 66.66%. Next, you substitute 2 by 3 here. 3 by 5 into 100. 5 1s are 5 20s are 2 3s are 60% of translation. Remaining percentage rotation. 2 by 5. 5 1s are 5 7. 5 by 7. 500 by 7 answer. 7 1s are 7 7s are 49. 10. 70.1 some percent, more than approximately 70% will be there. So if at all you keep a running race between solid sphere, solid cylinder, hollow cylinder, you will see that 70% of whatever total energy is there, out of that 70% will be translation for solid spheres. So solid spheres or cherries we call it, no, they will roll faster. Marbles, ball bearings, they use it, no. So they roll faster than anybody else, so they will travel more distance in less time, because they're in running race, translational part should be more. And in all these cases, by knowing the percentages, whatever way they create a race, and the rolling is pure rolling, in that case always ring comes last, sphere comes first. First is sphere, second is solid cylinder, solid sphere, solid cylinder, hollow sphere and hollow cylinder. In that way the race will end. First, even when you see your gas cylinder in your house, when it is empty, you try to kick it, keep it horizontal and kick it. It will not roll properly. Whereas when it is newly brought and full gas is there, liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, kick it, it rolls much smoothly. Why? Because it has more moment of inertia or more translation. Solid spheres will have more translation. And moreover, interestingly, you may ask, sir, by filling the more and more gas, we have increased the mass. Mass part will get cancelled. Here, all these are factors, whether it is a small sphere or a big sphere, small cylinder or a big cylinder. It is independent of mass here. It's all shape dependent. Ring, it's important that it is a ring. Whether it's a big ring or small ring is unimportant. Disc, sphere, solid sphere, hollow sphere, whether they are big in size or small in size are unimportant, because mass factor has already got cancelled. Whether you have taken 1 by k square by r square, it's a shape factor, not mass factor. How the mass got distributed. So when you are doing moment of inertia topic, as many times as you possible, try to make practice, because these all things will help you there. So I hope you understood this. In whichever translation is more, that object comes first in the race. In the object, if it is rotation is more, obviously total percentage is 100. For example, solid sphere will have 70% translation, means 30% rotation. That is better for in the race. If this itself is 70% and this is 30%, it rotates more but translates less. And rolling motion altogether we are considering from one point to other point in that race, that will come next. These are the important points which you need to understand regarding rolling motion. Yes, students, general condition for pure roll. So here I have drawn only the object, but there will be a floor also, or I say ground, or I say road. this point of the road is called point of contact of wheel with the surface. The general condition for pure roll is the point of contact of rolling object with respect to surface on which it is rolling must have zero relative velocity. Why I need to emphasize this is, suppose this most of the time students use this so many times in so many problems, that VCM is equal to R omega CM, because they did give rolling object on a fixed surface. So when these two are equal and opposite and this point is at rest, suppose this point I call A, this point I call B, VAB should be 0. What does VAB is equal to 0? Velocity of A minus velocity of B should be 0, where A is the bottommost point of this wheel and B is the surface on which it is rolling. So VA have forward velocity VCM minus backward velocity R omega CM minus the surface is at rest is equal to 0. This leads to VCM is equal to R omega CM. This is a condition for pure rolling, but not the general condition for pure rolling. General condition for pure rolling, VAB is equal to 0. Now, see this. This is a wheel. And when my hand is the surface, I keep my hand fixed. When I make it roll like this, hand is fixed. But if at all, I roll it using this scale, the scale translated, you see, the scale is getting translated and it will translate double the times. Why? Here, if at all I keep one plank or scale and I make the scale move, then what is our condition? VAB should be 0. This point is having velocity VCM plus R omega CM, plus this much minus the second body is the upper body, say B. This is A, uppermost point of this body is A and this body is B. So that VB should be so much. So that should be VB, and bring this VB this side. So it will be equal to VB. This is the condition for pure rolling. VAB, relative velocity of, read it once again. The point of contact of rolling object with respect to the surface on which it is rolling must have 0 relative velocity, or relative velocity, you can start with that word. So now what happened? This lowermost point have forward velocity and backward velocity in opposite direction. So this should be equal to this. Then at this point pure rolling occurs. At this point VCM is forward, R omega CM is forward. Therefore the uppermost plank what is kept over it should also travel with the same velocity. Then only there will be no slippage there. So uppermost point should have, this plank should have a velocity equal to VCM plus R omega CM, not VCM is equal to R omega CM. So like that, at this point I kept one slider and I am sliding it over there. Then at this point we'll have whatever velocity and the slider should have that velocity, such that relative velocity should be 0. I should move equally with you also moving. Then between you and me relative velocity should be 0. So this point you keep in mind, because inside this they keep one more sphere, and that sphere they want it to be rolled on this, and this may be already rolling. So this point of that outside part and this point of the inside part, you take one as A and one as B and take the relative velocity to be 0. This point, even though they don't ask in MSET, BITSET or board examination, but in IIT Mains and IIT Advanced or so many good exams, they know the student blindly writes for pure rolling VCM is equal to R omega CM. That is true in many 99% of the cases when we have a surface like this fixed and object is rolling. So now we go to road, hundreds of vehicles are going. In all of the cases, most of the times there are no slip rolling is happening. Pure rolling is happening. In all of their cases, their present velocity in forward direction and at the bottommost point will have backward velocity R omega CM, both will be equal. Then only there will be no slip, they are doing no slip rolling. Many a cases it is true, but that is not the general condition. The general condition is bottommost point or the point of contact of the rolling body with respect to the rolling surface on which it is rolling should have zero relative velocity. That means relatively they must be static. There must not be any slippage. Otherwise it will lead to forward slip rolling, otherwise it leads to backward slip rolling. Like that. Students, sometimes they ask velocity of any one of the point by giving velocity of the wheel. Say there is a wheel, which is, that means it's a wheel of a car, which is, the car is going at 36 kmph. So kilometer per hour. So there is 36, kilometer is 1000, hour is 3600 seconds. Sorry, 60 into 60, yeah. 0 0 0 0 cut 6 1 6 6 6 1 6 1. Sorry, 5 by 18 should come, no? Kilometer per hour. 6 1 6 36. Yeah, 10 meters per second it comes. Multiply with 5 by 18, you will get 10 meters per second. Same thing I have done it. Instead of using 5 by 18, I use that. Okay. 10 meters per second. This wheel is moving, rolling, the vehicle is moving at 10 meters per second, means what? So see, VCM is 10 everywhere. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Now I have given one more condition, that it is rolling without slipping. Then 10, 10, 10. No, this point will be at rest. R is 0, omega is there. So this is also 10. So now they ask any point's velocity, lowermost point velocity, 10 minus 10, 0. This velocity, 10 root 2 in this direction. This velocity, 10 root 2, 10 square plus 10 square under root, 10 root 2. This velocity, 20 meters per second. The topmost point will have highest velocity. Similarly, they can give any point at certain angle, say 30 degrees with respect to horizontal, and they may ask this point velocity. So there you have to draw VCM, which is 10, and R omega Cm, which is also 10. And this angle, so horizontal and this one. So if you complete a triangle, this is 30, this is 90, this is 60. This is 60 means this is 30. This is 30 means this is 60. Radius and tangent will be perpendicular. That concept I use. So this is 30 means this is 60. This is 60 means this is 30. This is 30 means this is 60. So this angle will be 60 degrees. So you can use resultant formula, 10 square plus 10 square plus 2 into 10 into 10 into cos 60 under root. Resultant velocity of that point. Or you write one in IJK form. Write translational velocity in IJK form and this is in IJK form. Add and take the magnitude. Whatever basically it's a vector sum. At any point we have VCM and R omega Cm. R omega Cm will be tangential and clockwise in this case, forward slip, no slip rolling, and we will be like that. If it can be rolling this side also, then this will be VCM, this will be R omega Cm, this will be VCM. They may, in a given wheel, they may be giving any one point of interest and they may ask you to find out speed, instantaneous speed of that point or instantaneous velocity of that point. You should be able to find it. So overall rolling object is a car is going at 36 kmph, which means every part of the wheel is not going at 36 kmph. Center of the wheel is going at 36 kmph. So in your house, you are having some Honda City car and you are going at 60 kmph constantly. What does it mean that every point on the wheel is moving at 60 kmph? No. So car will have 4 wheels, 4 centers you take into account. Those centers will be moving at 60 kmph along with the full body of your car and yourself. But every point on the wheel of the car will have different velocities. Directions will be different, magnitude also will be different. And on the tire, every 4 tires are there and 4 tires which are resting on the floor, and even though car is moving at 60 kmph, the points which are coming into contact with the road, they will come to rest. And the uppermost points of your wheel will be double the speed. Suppose your car is going at 60 kmph. The uppermost periphery of your wheel of the car will be at, suppose this is your wheel. This is you are going at 60 kmph. This point of the wheel will be going at 120 kmph. and this point will be at instantaneous rest when it is rolling without slipping. Similarly, every other point, every other point, every other point, every other point, you can find the velocity. They will be different. So they'll give you a point and they ask you to find out the speed of that particular point or velocity of that point. And they ask speed, only find the magnitude. When they ask velocity, find magnitude along with the direction. Yes, students, special cases. So first special case is this object. If it encounters a smooth surface, what happens? So what I am wanted to say is, there is a wheel which is only translating without any rotation, and it goes onto a smooth surface. Then it continues to translate without any rotation. But if the surface is rough, that becomes case 2. If it encounters smooth surface, then it goes with translation only. But if it encounters a rough surface, obviously all the surfaces are rough. So when it encounters that, what happens? Now this analysis is very, very important. So let me draw a little bigger wheel. So this point is translating, this point is translating, every point is translating, and this has encountered a surface which is rough, which is having friction, sufficient friction is there. Then this point which is having forward velocity will tend to slip backward. It slips forward. So on this kinetic frictional force Fk equal to mu Kn acts backward. This friction, if you have an object and there is a friction, what happens? It produces this, there is a velocity, this object is having a velocity. This friction will create retardation A, and retardation A will be equal to sigma F by m, net force on the object by mass, where net force is only this one, frictional force, Fk by m. So what it will do? V is equal to u plus at. Final velocity is equal to u is this present velocity Vcm. A is net force by mass, that is Fk by m, that is mu k n mg by m, mu g. So mu g, but it is not acting in the direction of velocity, acting opposite, retard. So it mu g into t. So as time passes on, this velocity gets reduced. So this Vcm, suppose this is 10 cm, becomes 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Not only this, every point's velocity will decrease. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, like that it decreases. Vcm decreases. Now see, this friction, you have an object, you have center of mass, and you are applying force like this. What it will do? It makes the object rotate. So this makes this wheel rotate now. So increases omega, friction force makes torque is acting. So torque will not maintain constant angular velocity, increases the angular velocity. So angular velocity when it increases, r omega cm increases, which was 0. When it is translating, there was no rotation. Now that rotation starts increasing. When rotation starts increasing, a stage will come. See here, my action. So this is Vcm. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is decreasing. This is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is increasing. So a stage will come. This decreasing and increasing values come together. So this becomes to 6 and this goes 6. So Vcm and r omega cm become equal. Thereafter, we have given forward slip rolling on a rough surface that will get converted into no slip rolling. That will get converted into no slip rolling. Now I tell the physics of this once again. When I explain this, you will understand. Okay, special case 3. Special case 2 is this on smooth surface, this on rough surface. This on smooth surface, what happens? Translating body on smooth surface translates forever. Translating body on rough surface, within some time, within very negligible time, loses some of its translation, gains rotation, thus that Vcm and r omega cm become equal and starts no slip rolling. So slips forward, slips at no, converts into no slip rolling. This on a smooth surface, when you keep it, continues to rotate there itself. Like when you keep your cycle with stand and your bicycle it, then the wheel rotates there itself. Like that it rotates like a fan there. But if it encounters a rough surface, so you are given r omega, you are given r omega, you are given r omega, you are given r omega like this. So the bottommost point of the wheel and if it is a smooth surface, it rotates there itself, it will not translate. But if it is a rough surface, it tend to slip backward. When this point tend to slip backward, frictional force act forward. R omega Cm is nothing but velocity. That velocity acts backward, frictional force act forward. What a force will do? Brings acceleration in the mass m, mass of the wheel. Brings acceleration in the mass. What acceleration will do? Increases the velocity. V is equal to 0. It was not translating. Center is at rest. Plus at. So forward point velocity will increase. And this friction which is acting, see, rotation clockwise and the torque is anti-clockwise. With respect to this center, force into perpendicular distance creates a negative torque opposite to the velocity. So that will reduce the R omega Cm. Now this will happen. Previously, this value which was decreasing, this value which was increasing became equal. Now this value is lost, this is 0. Decreasing R omega Cm and increasing V becomes equal. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like that it is decreasing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, like that by the time this became 3. Both velocities became equal. Thereafter, no slip rolling continues. You may ask, why don't it further reduce? It don't reduce because slip rolling got converted into no slip rolling. When no slip rolling starts, kinetic friction vanishes and static friction comes into play. And static friction will not rupture the surface on which it is rolling. So in this way, pure rotating object on a rough surface within some time becomes pure rolling object. Similarly, you give forward slip rolling object, after some time becomes no slip rolling. Backward slip object, after some time becomes pure rolling. So mostly pure rolling is favorable if you have sufficient friction. If the floor is having sufficient friction, any increments in forward velocity is compensated by R omega in backward. Any increments in R omega backward is compensated by V in forward, because when static friction is tending to convert into kinetic friction, immediately that as a force, as a torque, balances V and R omega. To get more clarity, we have to take the object to be over inclined plane. Then you will get more clear idea. So let me start like this. For it will be convenient if I use more amount of board. So I am rubbing it, those things. Just wait for a minute. Yes, students, please concentrate. There is a smooth incline, there is a rough incline of same inclination, and you have one object which is capable of rolling. Means I am not keeping a cubical object, I am keeping a round object. So what happens? G sin theta will act like this. Like mg will have a component, and mg sin theta is the net downward force which will make it accelerate. So even though its initial velocity is 0, it will not maintain initial velocities to be 0. It picks up some more velocity. So what happens? It gains some velocity. It gains some velocity. Not only this point, every point gains the same velocity. Every point gains the same velocity. So velocities will increase. But it is slide only. It will not roll. But if this is a rough surface, what happens? Interesting things happen. So see here. Round object capable of rolling, you kept u is equal to 0. So that same mg sin theta which is acting like this is a net downward force on it. Net downward force, try to give it a velocity at the bottommost point which makes V increase. That creates a frictional force backward, Fk, which is equal to mu kn. Now take this as center of mass, taking this, that is itself a center of mass, about which there is a torque. This Fk, because acting opposite to mg sin theta, and sufficient friction is there, that means Fk can adjust itself to any values, Fs will adjust to any values, reduces the effect of acceleration on that and increases this velocity. So what happens after little time, if you take here, by the time it gains some Vcm because of mg sin theta, it also gains R omega Cm because of kinetic friction. That was not there here. Therefore, it gains only Vcm. There is no possibility of gaining spin or rotation. After little more time, because the downward slope is there and mg sin theta continues to act, So every point gains lot of VCM. And whenever it gains VCM means it is rupturing the bottommost point. Whenever it ruptures the bottommost point, the kinetic friction comes into play and increases R omega Cm, like this. It increases omega Cm, R omega Cm. So what actually happens on a slopy surface, if you keep a rolling object static, it not only gains the forward velocity, but also it gains the angular velocity. So previously it was 0, 0. Forward velocity and backward velocity was 0, 0. Afterwards it is 10 and 10. Net velocity of the bottommost point is 0. 20 and 20. Net velocity of the bottom point is 0. But it comes from center, will come from 0 to 10 velocity, 10 meters per second to 20 meters per second, it gains velocity. So if you leave your vehicle on an inclined slope and you forget to apply the brakes and all, it will come down like that. And not only come down, it comes with increasing speed. Not only that, it not only gains the translation, the wheel not only gains the translation but also gains the rotation, which will not happen if the surface is smooth. On a smooth incline, there is no difference between a cube coming down and a ball coming down on a smooth surface. But on a rough surface, cube coming down will be a sliding motion. Rolling balls, they will not slide, they will roll. So on a rough surface, motion of a round object is different from motion of a cube. So this and this, if I take on a rough surface, both are same. On a smooth surface, this slides down like this also slides down like this. There is no difference. But this slides down with a acceleration we derived in friction chapter, g sin theta minus mu k mg cos theta. This cannot slide like that. So the time when it try to slide, frictional force come into play and make it turn like this. So it will roll and go down. So the motion of the wheel on a rough surface will be like this. And I told you almost, I have shown it as it is moving with equal speed. No, it will be going with increasing speed. Not only translation part, rotation part also increases equally, such that V and R omega at the bottommost point will be same. If at all by some methodology, if you stop omega Cm by applying brakes, then that's what actually we do. When we are coming down the hill, you ask your dad who drives the car, he will say that he always keeps the brake pressed. Why? Because he cannot handle that speed which you gain down the incline. So thereby what will happen is, most of the times you will have forward slip rolling. On hill stations, if you drive your vehicles, the wheels the tires you have to change regularly after 10,000, 20,000 kilometers. That much is not required when you move on horizontal surfaces. Anyhow, this is the point. Now, coming to the mathematics of this, so if I drop from this with this height, say loss in mgh, potential energy, is equal to gain in rolling kinetic energy, Ke roll. By the time it comes to it travels a length L on the incline. So mg, if at all this incline is having angle theta and this is h, this distance traveled, whatever may be the distance, L, h is equal to L sin theta. L sin theta. Kinetic energy rolling, in this video lecture only I told half m VCM square into 1 plus k square by r square, where r is the physical radius of the object. No, write capital R. Mass of the object, capital M. So this capital M gets cancelled, cross multiply. 2 g L sin theta. First thing, can we conserve energy like this? Means yes, in pure rolling we can do it. In forward slip rolling, in backward slip rolling, we are not supposed to do that, because mechanical energy is not conserved in that context. By 1 plus k square by r square, this I moved it here, this I moved down, and VCM square is there, so I write VCM under root. So this is a velocity gained after moving a length L. So u is 0 and here it gained VCM, and that VCM is this much, means you can get ACM also. What is the acceleration? ACM for a given object. If you change the object, value changes, but for a given object we can write it. V is equal to u plus at, or length is known to us. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. V square is square of this. 2gl sin theta by 1 plus k square by r square minus 0 square. Starting with, just kept it, we didn't move it. 2 a is acceleration of rolling, which we call it as. S is the distance travelled L. length traveled L. L and L gets cancel. So this 2 and this 2 gets cancel. Rolling acceleration, we got it. G sin theta by 1 plus k square by r square. This is the formula to be by hearted. This is the formula to be by hearted if you want. Then accordingly, after traveling the distance, you want time of descent. Then you can find S is equal to ut plus half at square. You can use it because you know acceleration. You can find time of descent. Velocity on the bottom of the plane. If the inclination is not L and if you know certain value, write that value. And here interestingly, this rolling acceleration is independent of mass of the object, whether you take small cylinder or big cylinder, small sphere or big sphere. This don't depend on mass. This also don't depend on mass. But this depends on k square by r square factor. It depends on shape of it. So acceleration of rolling disc and acceleration of rolling ring are not same because k square by r square value will be different for each of the objects. But given object can be big or small. Big sphere or small sphere, acceleration is same, h g sin theta by k square by r square. If you increase the inclination theta, sin theta increases, acceleration increases. If you decrease the theta, gravity anyhow you cannot change at a given place. So to increase the acceleration, either you have to increase the angle or this denominator you should decrease it. Denominator can be decreased by changing k square by r square values. So this is rolling motion down the incline plane. Loss of potential energy is equal to gain of kinetic energy, or here it was potential plus zero kinetic, or here it is zero potential plus kinetic, because I don't want to use the word loss and gain, energy is conserved. So there was here PE plus KE, here KE was 0, here it is KE plus PE, PE is 0. So we can say that energy is conserved. Instead of, if you don't like the accountancy language like loss, gain, these are the words they use, debit, credit kind of words they use in commerce, accountancy, they don't use in physics. So loss of PE, gain of KE, some students don't like it. So I am also comfortable with saying total energy is conserved. Here whatever energy is there, here same energy is there. But here it was in form of more potential, less kinetic. Here it is more kinetic, less potential. So total is conserved. This way rolling body can be done, and the acceleration of rolling object by changing the k square by r square value. For ring it is 1, hollow cylinder it is 1, circular disc it is half, solid cylinder half, hollow sphere 2 by 5, sorry 2 by 3, solid sphere 2 by 5. By putting those values you can get velocity of any of the object. If VCM is more, that will come first in the race. If ACM more, that will come first in the race. But when you come to time, whichever takes more time is last coming in a race. If you do calculation of time, whichever takes more time, see in a race who runs fast is a winner. So if his velocity is more or acceleration is more, he is a winner. But he should take less time. So time wise he should take less. So you want to tell a race, 4 ways you can tell who will win. So generally these questions regularly they coming in Tamil Nadu set, Andhra set, M set, B set, like that. They give 4 objects, circular disc, circular ring, hollow sphere, solid sphere, like that. They ask which will come first. If you tell in terms of acceleration, you can tell in terms of velocity, you can tell percentage of translation, or whichever takes less time. More translation comes first, more VCM comes first, more ACM comes first, and more time it takes comes last, less time it takes comes first. This way I am going to conclude this rolling motion. More of problems I will take up in some other lecture, but this is the theory involved for rolling motion.